love that music.
Hello, and welcome to Woman Warrior Wednesday. We have our special guest today, Maria Sanin, with us, and she is the founder and owner of Confident Closers Branding, as well as the host of the Confident Closers podcast. And I'm super excited to have you here, Anna. We were just kind of catching up before we jumped on here, and Anna, Maria, and I have known each other for, I think it's like 6 years now, right? Like
maybe more, because I've been in the mortgage industry for 6 years. So I don't know. I think we're going on like 7 or 8.
Yeah. So we've known each other for a while, and I'm super excited to have you here. For those that are just joining in, it's Woman Warrior Wednesday. This is a weekly live broadcast that I host. I am Ruby Garcia. I'm a life coach. I am the founder of Ruby Garcia Coaching and the Woman Warrior program, which is all about, helping women to tap into their power so they can speak their truth, act with courage, and use their influence to make greater impact. And Woman Warrior Wednesday is really just about highlighting and showcasing women that are doing extraordinary things, bringing their knowledge and wisdom to the table so that others can learn from them. And I'm, again, very excited to have Anna Maria with us today because she is extraordinary. It's been really cool to see her journey from the outside, kind of watching your trajectory. So Anna Maria, Anna Maria, by the way, I want to notate this. She is also, I wrote this down somewhere here. You are also the 2019 and 2020 Women with Vision Award winner for your work in personal branding. So that's quite an accomplishment there. And before we get started and dive into the branding, just tell us a little about yourself and a little about your background, where you came from, and kind of leading up to like how you found your way into personal branding.
Wow. That's a long, I'm going to try to narrow that down a little bit and take the shortcut. But, well, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited that we're getting to catch up. And yes, it's been an amazing journey. Just like you said, watching from behind the scenes, I've been watching you as well. So Ruby, this is awesome. I am so happy that we're reconnected because, we were really connected when we were together.
Yeah, exactly. I know.
We really admired and supported each other. So that's really cool. All right. So a little background on me. So I'm a mom. I can tell you guys that right now. After 17 years, I'm pregnant again. So that's crazy, right? So definitely, I have, so let's just kind of take it back a little bit. Ruby and I met through a coach back then. We were both looking to start our journeys doing what we loved. And so I, at that time, through a long journey before, wow, should I even take it back? So I've been a mom since I was 15 years old. And so
you're pro.
Yeah. So I had my first son at 15. And anyhow, I remember, always wanting to do more. And so obviously at 15, life sort of started for me a lot earlier than I thought. And I had to take responsibility for taking care of myself, my son, and providing, right? So I was always on the hustle, on the hunt, on figuring out, how was I going to do something that I loved in my life and not just, settle or get caught up in having a job so that I can provide, so that I can have a roof, so that my kids can eat, so that I can, you know what I'm saying? So
right.
Anyhow, that journey, that path or that vision or that desire took me through a lot of ups and downs in my life. And so fast forward, when Ruby and I met a couple of years back, I had graduated. I had just received my second degree. I went to school the first time for computer science, and then I went into fashion merchandising. And the reason why is because I had realized that through a spiritual encounter that I had with God, being an atheist my entire life, I realized that my passion was to empower women, to help women understand their value. So I wanted to do that. At the time, the only way I knew how to do that, I was like, well, maybe I can do this through image branding, through their wardrobe and how they show up in life and how they feel about themselves. And the reason why is always growing up, I had this ability to make myself feel better through my wardrobe, through how I put myself together. And so, I was really just thinking of the tools that I had at hand and that I felt confident about when this whole idea came about wanting to help women. And so anyhow, Ruby and I met at the time. And so I wanted to, like I said, I was looking to start this company and to really help women with their image and so forth. And, and that just led into me working and learning a lot about branding and positioning ourselves and providing value and utilizing all the tools that were available in that time in our lives. And so
I think it was that in that group that was that the first time that you kind of heard about personal branding in that mastermind, or were you familiar with it a little outside because of the fashion?
I was familiar with it because of the fashion. Before I started in that group, I had graduated, and then I was working for a manufacturing company. I was doing a private label development. So I had an understanding about personal branding, but also about the psychology of branding. Obviously, going to school through fashion, we learned a lot about all the different pillars, right? That play a role within the industries and whatever, and really like personal branding, marketing, advertising. There is a lot of psychology behind that. It's understanding human behaviors, it's understanding what moves the needle. So I had an understanding, and I was very intrigued by it. So, but I was really more exposed when we were in that coaching program together. But I never thought that I was going to go into branding. So anyhow, long story short, I decided to jump off the cliff and say, you know what, I'm doing this full time. This is what I'm doing. This is where I'm going. I don't know how. I'm just going to make it happen. Well, unfortunately, things did not go my way. And so
similar stories here.
Yeah, they did not go my way. And about a year and a half after, trying to figure it out, pushing through it and trying to make it, and really just freelancing, because I didn't have a business. I was just freelancing. Honestly, I realized that I needed stable income. I realized that I couldn't continue to do this. I realized that there was still a lot of things that had to be done, that I had to, that I just wasn't there. And so that led me to an opportunity. And is this the direction that you want me to take? I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. Yeah. I mean, there's no right or wrong. It's your story, right?
Yeah. So that just led me into an opportunity within the mortgage industry through one of my clients when I was, trying to start the company for image branding. To join the mortgage industry. She had a team. And so anyhow, I'm telling you this because I felt at that time like me accepting this opportunity, although it was to do, it was different. I wasn't going to be doing image branding. Now I was going to go work for a company. I was going to go get a W-2. So I felt like now I'm going to, my whole time is going to go there. What's going to happen with what I'm trying to start here? So I thought like I was, in my mind is like, I'm giving up. like, you're giving up on this again. You said you weren't. You said you were going to do this. You said you were going to do that. You said you were full in, full force. So it took me a while, but it was the best decision I ever made. It was the best decision I ever made because it was the platform that allowed me to implement and to learn and to polish and to prove myself to professionals that I had what I needed, and or that through, or that, number one. Number two, it allowed me also to, like I said, implement what I had learned so that I can polish what I needed to polish to be where I'm at today. So with that said, 6 years into the industry, working with mortgage professionals, doing business development, doing marketing for them and their teams, and running recruiting departments and helping the new branch managers and loan officers brand themselves and position themselves, brought me to launching my own company. So today I am a wife, I am a mommy, I'm a business owner, and I'm very grateful for what I do.
Yeah. And what was, I think, so I mean, I'm familiar kind of with a little bit of the struggles of, you jump ship to do your own thing, and then you find yourself a little bit wailing in the sea. And so then do what you need to do in order to, be able to provide. And then you're working on this double, you're working on, maybe you're working a job, and then you have your business. And I think a lot of people actually live in this space. What kinds of, I love the word that you said, you were able to kind of polish and finesse some of the things that you learned. And then, you were able to further develop. Any other advice or tips that you would give to people that are in that in between? Because I think so much, like now, you've been running your own business, you're successful, you have a team of 6, right? There's been all this growth. You've got, additional revenue streams coming in. But that did not happen overnight. So for those people that are kind of in that messy middle, like, what advice would you have for them?
Wow, I totally get it. And it doesn't happen overnight. We both know this, right? Like, we've been at it even for longer than when we met. It's been something that, so that's even when we say, like, people, oh, well, they're made it or they're doing it. Like, believe me, they have gone through a lot of pain and disappointment and frustration and a lot of tears. And so anyhow, my advice, I'll tell you guys what what happened. I had to continuously tell myself that I was not giving up. I was simply surrendering the timing. And that, that's really what I did. And there was a lot of times where I was, just maybe I woke up depressed or felt like a failure certain days and be like, what am I doing? But I was surrendering the timing. The timing was not up to me. And so that, that self-talk, I just kept reminding myself, I'm not giving up. This is just surrendering. Number one. Number two, it's so important to not let our desire to be full-time doing what we love to take us away from the present moment and from the lessons, the opportunities that are being presented to us, again, to polish, to finesse, to prove the concept, because that's really one of the things that I got to do within the mortgage space while I was, working there. It was that, when people are going to start businesses, they say, well, have you proven, that your concept works and whatnot. And so realize that you're proving whether your concept works or not in some sort of way, doing the other thing that you're doing to then have that confidence of like, okay, this works, right? Or I have the ability, or I have the skills to change or to impact or to do something in other people's lives. And so you're doing it while you're on a paycheck. I mean, any owners listen, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're getting paid for it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Absolutely.
so you know what? So that's another, that would be number two. And then, it's number three. I mean, and even it's not even a number three. I mean, I'm trying to think back when I was there. And even still, because now it's like, okay, you're running your business. It's like, all right, you're doing it, but how are you going to scale now? I'm like,
Like, new level, new devil, as they say, right?
But yeah, ladies, gentlemen, whoever listening right now, um, it's again, I think it's that self-talk. That's the number one thing, because it's
Yeah.
us. It's us, the ones who are, putting that doubt, questioning if we're ever going to be able to make it. I questioned a lot because it wasn't my first rodeo. And I'm sure for those of you who are really passionate about something, who are running that side business, or who have put it on hold and really want to go back into it 100%, you doubt, like, is this for me? Am I ever going to be able to make it? I'm only getting older, like, and then, because my target audience it's okay. The older you get, you sort of like change your target audience a little bit, and so just don't, everything's going to happen in its perfect time. And if this is your passion, if this takes away your sleep, if this does all that does to you, just focus on what's in front of you right now, what's being given to you. How can you utilize that? How can you use the space that you're in to continue to develop and to grow, so that when the time comes, you can make that switch? Don't let your dream steal from you the opportunity to grow right now.
Oh, that's so good. That is so good. People listen up to that. I mean, I have to say it louder for the people in the back. That is, I mean, it's a lot of trust and surrender, right?
Yeah,
That's what I'm really hearing you say is it's a lot of trust and a lot of surrender. And that's part of the process, and not to miss like the
yeah,
present because you're so focused on the future, right?
yeah, yeah. Absolutely. That really is it. Yeah. And
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 so,
and, and trusting and surrendering, that doesn't mean that, you're going to be okay. There's going to be ups and downs, but always hold on to that. Like, I might be doubting, but I'm going to trust and I'm going to surrender, and
yeah.
just never let go of that.
Yeah. And it also doesn't mean that you're not doing anything, right? It doesn't mean that, trust and surrender means that you are not doing anything. It's like you could still take action and have the trust and the surrender, which I think is, something that um is good to distinguish
Yes.
because it doesn't mean that it's necessarily passive,
Yeah.
right? You're still taking the steps. You're still, it's the analogy I think Martin Luther King Jr. said about, the staircase, and you're just taking the next step, and you're having faith and taking the next step that's in front of you, even though you
Right.
can't see the entire staircase, right?
Right. And I love that you're bringing that up, because also, while, again, a lot of the times we say, well, I don't have enough time, or I don't have enough this, or I don't have enough that. But that's what I'm saying. It's about still taking action with what you do have, with what's
Exactly.
available, and again, that's why I say staying in the present moment, and really still having that accountability with yourself, right, on utilizing your time wisely, on obviously life balance. And I know that's a really word, but your priorities, right, always keeping your
Priorities.
priorities in place. Never, never giving up on, or settling, or putting, moving your priorities when they don't make you happy. But again, what makes you happy, what's important to you, and with what you have today and right now, how can you, maybe it's 20 minutes, maybe it's a conversation, maybe it's one person, maybe it's this, like, what's that time? So consistency, commitment to self, and again, living with, looking at what you do have and not what you don't. That's how you continue to take action.
Yeah, a lot of mindset too, right? A lot of mindset there is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
So now you have your business. Your business is established, Confident Closers, branding and consulting. And tell me a little about the work that your agency does.
Absolutely. So, being in the mortgage space for the last 6 years, I remember when I came into the industry, they were so old school, like old school to the O. Meaning, um, they wouldn't, so big banks would not allow their small branches, their offices that came under them to use their products to brand themselves. To them was threatening them. It was taking away business from like the big banks and so forth. And so creating your brands, branding, marketing yourself, positioning yourself as an expert under your own brand, being the spotlight, attracting people through your social media accounts, was just like, that is so egotistic. That is so, but because of the perception, right, that they had, not really understanding it from a branding, from a marketing, from an advertising standpoint. And as I always say, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. It's how you tell the story. So anyhow, what was the question?
Uh, I forgot now that we were off. It was just telling me about your business, about
Oh, my business.
yeah.
So focusing. Okay, so why do I, what does my business serve and whatever. So anyhow, so it was really intriguing to me, and I got to break through that. I got to brand a really big team. We're very well known. And after that, like, everybody really started engaging and adopting, the technology, and doing Facebook lives, and and creating and giving value through their social media accounts and whatever. So um my business really focuses on the mortgage. When I decided last year that I was going to leave corporate, and that it was the perfect timing due to COVID, right? I knew, because I had a lot of people fight me on, creating their brand, on, like putting themselves out there, telling their story, not because of them, but because of their audience. So that because it's like they're all secret agents. I'm like, you can't be a secret agent. Like,
are your most of your clients solely focused in the mortgage? Like, is that your niche, is in the mortgage branding, personal branding for the mortgage industry?
yes. So
Okay.
that is my niche. So I do mortgage, real estate, and title. And that's really where I market and promote myself. And it's because I speak their language, right? So with that said, last year I was like, this is what I'm doing, and I'm focusing on the mortgage. It's a very lucrative space. And then, COVID came, so we all went virtual. And I was like, you guys can't continue to run away. You have to brand yourselves. You have to. And so with the new technology era that we're entering, way of doing business, and the way the industry has grown and has developed and has, adopted all these tools, I decided again, to focus just on them. And it's like I tell my clients, like, when you try to talk to everybody, you're talking to nobody.
Yeah.
And so niching down, really finding your target audience. And so that's what I did for myself.
Okay, awesome. And so then if I think there's always this discussion about like, or maybe even fear around niching down, right? And you're very niche because you're targeting, mortgage, real estate, titles, right? And then
Yeah.
how do you, and so you work with your clients, and what, because you think, well, how different can like mortgage people be in order to brand them differently? Can you, and I don't know if this is kind of coming out as a thought slash question, but like, what does that look like in order, or maybe let me think about how I want to ask this. Um, I guess maybe this is a better way to ask the question. How does one get to their, I'm going to call it like unique differentiator, right? Like there's tons of mortgage people, in my industry, there's tons of coaches. If someone's looking for a job, there's tons of candidates. So what, you know, how do you get to that unique differentiator?
That's a great question. And by really being able to identify yourself. So it's that simple. So I know mortgages, right? Like how do, what's my unique value proposition, or, who is my specific target audience when I'm working with mortgage people? It's like, we have products, we sell money, and I can help anybody who's looking for a home and whatnot, which yes, you can. However, and I always bring this example. Let's talk about Target and Walmart. Target and Walmart. So they're big retail store for food and home goods and everything else that they have. But Target's marketing and branding speaks to a different target audience. Target focuses on a lifestyle. It focuses on commodity. It does not focus on value like cost, money. Target's marketing, it speaks to a specific audience who focuses on saving, getting more for your dollar. And so they're very niched on their target audience. Now, that doesn't mean that one target audience does not go to the other target, it goes to the other store, or that one or the other. So let me apply that to mortgage people. So there is, first of all, when I ask my clients, who is your ideal client? What do they eat? Where do they go? What do they like? Do they like sports? What do they do for fun? Like, who is this ideal person that when you think about them, right? And then by me learning about your personal story, at the end of the day, like your journey, my mortgage people's journey, why they came into the industry, what did they do before? What are some of the things that differentiate them? A lot of them are all about, long-term planning. They're about, maybe they relocated their entire life, right? And so, how do you build your brand on that? So if you've relocated your entire life, you understand relocation, you're licensed in different places, then we're going to position you to speak to those people who are relocating, who rather work with somebody that they can relate to, that's from New York, that likes the Yankees, that loves pizza, that loves, going to shows, that and so all the characteristics, about this specific individual, we identify, because at the end of the day, those are the people who share similar characteristics with you, who you really, truly enjoy and connect and build rapport effortlessly when you get to do business together.
So it's more than, let me just clarify, Anna Maria, it's more than just the, I guess the surface professional, but you're getting down into like the personal, like, do I have something in common with this person? And do I actually like this person?
Yes.
Like that would make me want to do business with them.
Yes. Because it's all about emotion. It's all about connection. It's all about, psychologically, when we choose somebody versus the other, it's like, what do I have in common? How can I relate? Why do I feel more comfortable here? And so from a psychological standpoint, it's the characteristics, it's what this individual lets me know about themselves. It's how they position themselves that I feel more comfortable with one versus the other. At the end of the day, they might have the same products. They might have, and the same goes with that, with value. Like we think, well, people are going to choose this one because it's more affordable or whatever. That's not true. We all go to Starbucks and spend $6 on a coffee, right? Because of how it makes us feel.
I love this. I'm kind of laughing to myself because, and I have a friend that says this is like, I might need personal branding for dating. My personal brand for dating, right? Like that would be such a niche market too, right?
Totally. But listen, like for me, when it's like my target audience, like I work with, all real estate mortgage people, but I don't really work with everybody. Like for me, my ideal client in the industry is somebody who is already established in the industry, who mostly women, it's somebody who doesn't, who trust, and it's not somebody who's questioning me on, what I'm doing for them. It's somebody who enjoys helping one another. It's somebody who sort of just wants to like pass on the baton. um this person for me is a free spirit person, is a giver. They really just enjoy being around people and constantly growing and helping those around themselves grow. And that's really like, that's my brand, that's my target audience, that's the people that I want to work with. If I'm working with somebody who is worried and questioning my value and questioning what I'm doing, and or has this scarcity mentality, and or it's on the other spectrum of who I am and the circle and the tribe that I want around me, it's not somebody I want to work with.
Yeah.
It's completely opposite. And it's
So
going to
even when you're in the niche, you even niche down more, is what I'm hearing you say, right?
Absolutely.
And for anyone listening, Anna Maria does work nationally. So you heard who her ideal client was. And if you know someone, please make that referral, because she is an expert. And if you can follow her on Instagram, and we'll get to that later on too. But she is an expert in her industry, which is, part of the reason why she was awarded the 2019 and 2020 Women with Vision award. So to make it practical for people listening in, and I actually had some people DM me some of their questions too that they had. One of the questions, hang on, I think I wrote it down here, was I had one person asked two questions, and one of the questions was that her experience as a personal branding feels like a lot of work, like it's another job on top of her 9 to 5. So how would you recommend someone approach personal branding so it doesn't feel like so much work?
It is a full-time job, so you're not going crazy.
And this, by the way, is for someone that's not in the doesn't have her own business, so they're not in trying to market. They're not in a bit, I guess I'm hesitant to say, but I guess they don't need to market themselves, right? Like they're not trying to attract clients or anything like that. So I don't know if you have thoughts about that in terms of like,
so explain this to me. So this is a person who works in a company,
and she's not, trying to sell someone a product or service.
Okay.
And her experience is that it feels like a lot of work to do personal branding.
But she is trying, within the company that she's in, she's trying to attract more business for herself or for the company.
I think in her case, she's actually looking outside of the company. So that's
okay,
what the focus.
So she's looking to position herself
in another role at the company.
Right. As a leader, as whatever, within a specific industry or whatnot. So yes. So doing what you do full time and then trying to take on a second job of personal branding yourself can be a lot, especially, trying to do that. And if you have a personal life or you have a family, and if you don't have a family, you have a busy lifestyle, when do you do that? So here's the thing. I always tell my clients, one of the things is that we take for granted what personal branding is, and that's a full-time job. That's why we have experts for everything, being a doctor, being, a coach, the person the different roles that we have. And so you're trying to take on another job, another role to brand yourself. And you can, and it's like, we're sort of half doing it. So my advice always is like, source out to the experts, what they do best. That's really my advice. Now, if this is just, I guess the question would be, what are you looking to accomplish by
Yeah.
branding yourself? Like, what's the end goal? Why do you want to brand yourself? How is that going to benefit you right now or in the future? Like, what's your vision?
Right.
Why? And so that would be number one, to find the value of this, right? And if it's something, if it's a goal that you have because it's going to lead you to the next step and whatnot, then maybe it's, source it out, invest in yourself, invest in the expert who's going to take this off your plate and do it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if you want to learn yourself and be the one who is learning to then implement yourself, then, that's a commitment to self. That's, if you want to do that, make it as part of your schedule. How many hours are you going to spend on this a week? How, and what are you going, and then, what are you looking to implement this quarter from what you've learned? But again, if it's not your expertise, you're only going to be able to, the end result is going to be based on what
Yeah.
so
Exactly.
sometimes we're like, well, I can do this, I can learn this myself. Sure, you can. Go
And do
do
you
it.
have
And
time?
what, you get what you put in, and you get what you pay for, and you get, what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that would be my very straightforward advice.
Okay. And then the other question this person had was, and I guess this can be opened up for, others too, but if you're not a big social media person, how does one go about branding themselves outside of social media?
So again, a lot of my clients are not social media persons. My people are numbers people. They are, they are all about numbers, putting files together. The last thing that they want is social media. So, how do you, okay, so there's two answers to this. Number one, you do not have to be a social media person to take advantage of the tools and social media today. Again, you have to hire the expert to do that for you. Now, it's not about hiring a social media manager. It's not about hiring a graphic designer. Like, you really, again, it's hiring a brand strategist, somebody who's going to understand your vision and then being able to tell your story from your place, because it's not about creating generic things and putting it out there and saying, oh, here I have a social media account and I have social media presence. Like, there's got to be a reason why, right?
Right.
But how do you brand yourself physically? You identify your target audience, you identify the places of interest, where they hang out, what they do, and you make presence. You go to networking events, you go to virtual events, you you get involved with local organizations. That's how you build your brand, your personal brand, on a physical level, by doing these things. But see, the thing is that you can only, and my cat's about to get in the way, um, you can only do this in person with so many people, right? You
Right.
can only reach so much and you only have so much time. So building a brand online through social media and having somebody to do that for you, it broadens the amount of people and the people you can reach and the
Right.
impact that you can have.
Yeah.
So
So you're really expanding your visibility. So you can be visible, but you can only attend so many events every week, right?
yes.
And you can, depending on what your business is, you can ask for referrals at those events, or do follow-ups. But again, there's only so much reach if you have to be physically there. So
Yeah.
like, if you really kind of want to expand that, then what I'm hearing is like social media is the way to go, because
And you don't have to love it, and you don't have to do it yourself.
exactly.
You
And
know.
yeah, exactly. And then you can hire someone to do that for you, right?
Yeah.
What kind of things do you think makes up a strong brand? What are the keys to a strong brand? What would you say?
a clear brand identity, okay, a clear story roadmap, you know, again, a clear target audience. Because here's the thing, if I'm trying to talk to everybody, and I think I've said this before, I'm talking to nobody. And the reason why is because the way I speak to a specific audience, the language that I use, the way I position, my image, my content creation, the words, the way I communicate with one target audience, it could be completely different from another. The way I communicate with, millennials and Gen Zs that live in a specific area, that work in a specific industry, that have specific values, could be completely different. And this could be like millennials, let's say from Ohio, Tennessee, or from small states, versus the way I'm speaking to millennials and Gen Zs in California, in New York. Like, their values are different. The companies, the environment that they live in is completely different. And so having a defined target audience, it is crucial to a brand. Having a congruent brand identity is crucial. I don't want to confuse. You don't want to have a confused viewer. When we are confused, when I go and look at somebody's brand and there isn't a clear message or a consistent brand story, a clear look and feel, a tagline that I can follow and understand who you are, I'm just going to walk away. And it's not, we don't do it consciously, it's subconsciously. And this has become more and more and more because of all the access that we have. There's many of us doing what we do. There's many coaches, there's many brand strategists like myself, right? But so that's why there's many of accountants, there's many, whatever you guys are, there's a lot of us. And so we have access to anybody. We just Google things, or we go on here and we search for this. We can pick and choose anybody. So having a clear brand identity and a clear message, it's crucial to the vitality of your brand. As a matter of fact, I have a article that I just wrote about the vitality, the 4 pillars to your brand's vitality. I'll give you that. It's actually on my Confident Closers. I don't know if it's the confidentclosers.com website. It's either published already or I have to publish it this week. But that's actually, it's not published yet because I was waiting for Women with Vision magazine to publish it first.
Okay.
So
when we get that, we'll attach the link to it then.
Yeah. And it's the 4 pillars of your brand vitality. What's crucial to your brand? And so I would say is that define target audience, your brand identity, a clear brand identity, and a clear message for your brand story. That's crucial because we need people to understand. If it's too much, if it's confusing, as much as they love you, they're not going to remember it. We're not going to remember it.
Yeah. And one of the things I really remember is like people will also, they buy into your why.
Yes.
So, right. So that story portion is like also understanding, like, why is it that you do, what you do? Because and it's that emotional connection, right? Yeah. I think that, it's funny. I was, and maybe you have some thoughts on this too, but I my biggest LinkedIn post, I'm a big LinkedIn user. I love LinkedIn. That's kind of actually probably my favorite platform, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
But what I think is so interesting is that there are, write some posts and I think this is such a great post and it's going to get like, it'll get some traction or whatever. And then get 100 views or something like that. Right. And then I write other posts and 2 posts that got the most views were completely unrelated to anything. One was, something I wrote about around my son's 8th grade graduation. And I was just proud of him for getting through the year. And, it was remote learning and the pandemic. And I just learned that grades don't mean a lot. And, the things that I'm most proud of are not going to be listed on my resume or on a report card or anything like that. And that one I think got the most views, right? And then the second one was something really simple. It's posted recently around my birthday and just about how, hey, I'm 44 and I've reached some of my dreams and I still have more. And the amount of engagement I got on those was so surprising because it had nothing to do. I wasn't trying, right? Like
Yeah.
I wasn't trying, and either of those. I don't know if that's if you've had that experience for yourself or if your clients have had that, and if you could speak to what does make a good what how do you? I don't know if there's a magic.
There's a strategy to that. There's absolutely a strategy to that. And that's why keeping it human, keeping it real, right? The stories that we engage the most, it's, when all these commercials and advertising, it's about, stories that we can relate to, Dove, when they do, saving the ducks or whatever, things like that is things that we engage with, or like baby skin or whatever. So yes, it is important to be knowledgeable. It is important to, give value on your product, on your service, on, the industry that you're in. But again, because people connect, see, those posts allow people, the one about grades are not that important, or, hey, I'm 44 and, I have accomplished some of my dreams, but I have so much more. People will connect with you. Like, they're getting to know Ruby and they're getting to feel like, you know what? This girl's real. Like, she understands me because there's that. I feel the same way, so the formula to that is, it's just, you cannot separate who you are from your business. That's why it's personal branding.
Yeah.
You are your brand. When you're trying to figure out, well, what's my brand and how does my brand look and what's my brand's identity? Look at you. That is your brand, because you are only going to attract those who can connect with you, who have those similarities. And so identifying that, again, it's part of the work that has to get done before I say, I'm going to go start my brand. Okay, well, what's the identity of your brand? Have we identified it? Have we, how does your brand walk, sleep, smells, eats, does, gives, what are your brand? It's like bringing this little human together, right? And I like to use the analogy, especially now that I'm pregnant. It's like you're creating this baby, you're putting together all the characteristics of this baby, blood types, like all the things that are involved, and you have to identify that to bring it together. And then once the baby's born, now it's like, okay, how do I grow this baby? Well, now you have all the insights of this baby. You understand the DNA, you understand, everything about it. And I mean, if you're doing, not us, obviously, unless you're a scientist and you understand all of that. But what I'm saying, if we really wanted to study what makes up this baby, from a scientific standpoint, you have all this information, all this data, and now it's a roadmap, it's a guide on how you're going to present it, grow it, feed it, and positioning it, right? So same thing with our brands.
And I love that. I have a coach that says, I had asked her once, because I said, well, I got this, and I told you earlier before we started, I have this Ruby Garcia coaching, which is more focused on the career, and I have Woman Warrior that is more like women's empowerment, right? And what she said to me is like, it's all the same, Ruby. It's all you, right? It's like, bottom line is, it's not two brands. You are your brand, and those are both part of who you are and what you do, and that's what what people will see. So it's not. But I think we try to compartmentalize it, right? We
were just talking about this, earlier before we got started, right? Like, like my podcast too, or like, your woman with your Women Warrior. It's again, it's a platform that we use to build our brand, to position ourselves so that people can also, not only are we giving value by investing the time and bringing on, other women, other influencers, or, other people that can speak or that we can give a platform for our audience, but it's a way of people really connecting with you. It's building that trust. The number one thing when we're choosing who we're going to work with or whether I can trust this person is that barrier that stands right there, right? And doing this stuff is taking away that barrier that will make somebody doubt from now calling you and saying, hey, you know what? I want to do business with you. Like, I want you to help me because now, so this is part of what you're doing right here. Like this Woman Warrior is it's a platform for value to your audience, and it at the same time without selling yourself,
right?
Without doing you're just being you,
Yeah.
and
that's part of the reason I did it, which I think is really important, right? Anna Maria, is like finding the way that we brand ourselves has to feel authentic.
Yeah.
And to me, I this felt authentic because I'm not, it just fits my personality, right? Yep. Like I'm not in your face sales,
we're not salesy people. I'm not a salesy person. Yeah. I don't want to sell anybody.
Exactly. But it does help establish the brand and the credibility. One of the questions I get often too that also came up was for those that they can't invest in a brand strategist, and they want to start building their personal brand. What kind of advice or what would you tell them to go? They're doing it themselves, and where do they start?
That is definitely an article I have out right now. And it's about, how to create, you start with your again, you need to ask yourself, who's your target audience? So you start with asking yourself, who's my target? Who's my ideal client? And more from the surface, on the industry, like what are the characteristics of this person? Like if I was sitting in front of somebody and I just love working with this person, who is she? Who is he? Right? Once we have that, then now I would start with developing a logo. Okay. There's a lot of free platforms to do that. You can go to Canva. I have the article. You can find it on confidentclosers.com.
And do you think someone needs a logo even if they're not in?
Yes, because the logo, and when we talk about a logo, it's like your own name. Okay. Your stamp. Like if you don't have a company, you create a logo of your name. Okay. Right? Because you want that. Then also identify your color schemes. Like what are your colors? So because that is you want to use that through the graphics that you create online. Identify your tagline. Like what is your tagline? Create, research, do some YouTube research on how do I create like my covers, and make them again, just, you want to make sure that, and then you can follow to understand what, just because I'm doing mortgage, the formula doesn't change. The formula is the same for everybody. Right. Doesn't matter what industry you're in. I'm just focusing on one industry. So my formula, you want to go to confidentclosers.com and look at the case studies. I post each brand that we launch, and you can, go through and check out these people that we've launched, that we've created their social covers for, their stationaries, and just sort of follow the formula for your industry, and to recreate these things. Like there's no need to recreate the wheel.
Yeah. But I just posted it in the chat for anyone that's watching it. I posted the where a lot of your blogs come in, the case studies are in there as well.
Yeah. They can take the case studies on confidentclosers.com, and then they can go to annamariasanin.com and go to the blog, and then they'll find the different blogs there.
Okay.
Okay.
And then when it comes to the content, so how do they select what kind of, so I get, so, you create your, your tagline, your covers, your logo, you understand your target audience, right? Whether you're looking for a job, whether you're trying to pick up clients, whether you're trying to establish yourself as a thought leader in your industry. And then like, what advice would you have for them in terms of creating their content as part of their brand?
Here, there is this great website that I'm going to give you.
Oh, shoot, I lost you. All right. Let's see if Anna Maria joins back in here. And if you have questions, if you're watching and you have questions, you can feel free to drop them in the chat. Okay, good.
I don't know what happened. I'm like, what happened? Sorry. Anyhow, here I am going. So answerthepublic.com, okay, is a website. So let's say if for me, like mortgage, I put in the word mortgage and it's going to tell me from an SEO standpoint all the questions that people are searching about mortgage.
Oh, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Maria, I have to say, and this was actually on my list of, potential things to talk about, because you're the one who introduced me to WordSwag, which is an app to make, I use them for like the quotes that I do on my Instagram. And then I think you introduced me to Big View, which is another app where you
record.
You record, and it has a little bit of a teleprompter, which is something very helpful for me because I don't always, by myself, I have a harder time to stay on track.
Yeah.
And stay focused. And so it is a very natural way. So you always have these great tools. I know you just brought up Answer the Public, and I put it in the chat for anyone that wants to look into that. What other tools are there any other tools that you recommend or that you have your clients use on a regular basis?
So a tool that we use internally in the agency, it's Creative Market. So creativemarket.com, it is, you don't have to come up with like all these templates and stuff. You can go and purchase templates. So if you want to buy like social media cover templates that you can upload to Canva and the designs are already there and you're just sort of changing the color and doing the stuff, that's a great tool that we use. So here's my thing. You don't have to recreate things, like reinvent the wheel. It's about just finding the tools. I think I'm going to do an article on tools.
Because I'm not kidding. Like half of the tools that I've used in the past is because like I've gotten them from you.
Yeah. Teletub. No, that's not it. Tube something. There's another tool for those of you who are interested in the YouTube, creating your own YouTube channel. And how do you maximize, how do you make your YouTube channel grow? This is really, really good. Hold on. It is called TubeBuddy. So TUBE Buddy, BUDDY, TubeBuddy.com. If you're looking to grow your YouTube channel, but you're like, how do I grow my YouTube channel? It tells you, it's basically a guide on, writing your titles, creating your graphics, everything. So you had asked me, but your question at first was about, the content creation, right? Like, what do I post about? So here's the thing. So there's this, and I'm going to tell you guys this story. There is a realtor in Savannah, Georgia. Okay. She has relocated within Georgia, maybe 3 or 4 times. She moved from California in about 5 years or so. And she grew her YouTube account talking about relocation. She talks about she's a realtor and here's the house to buy and why you should buy and when not to buy. And, a lot of people are doing that. Like, what is a topic, so let me just finish this thought. So she just talks about relocating. So what are the things you need to know if you're a family of 5 and you're relocating to Savannah? What neighborhood do you want to move in? What are things to do if you're single relocating to Savannah? Things like that, that people would actually search, that people, when they're doing. So for example, Ruby, I have this other client. She's a mortgage professional. But she's really into the mindset of abundance and the mindset of, a lot of the people that she finds and she realizes that she's working with is like, they're like, oh, well, I don't have enough money for an investment, or I don't have, or I need to get a loan to do that, or I need to sell this. So her YouTube channel, my advice to her was like, you don't need to be talking about mortgages, but how to shift your mindset, things. So when people are searching for, questions about maybe investment or mindset, or, like, what are those topics that you can talk about and that people are searching for? Coaching, like you can be talking about, you don't have to be talking about selling your coaching platform. You can be talking about, like, people who are they're looking for, maybe it's, how to handle if my son or something in my life goes school with my children, or cooking for my kids, or things like that, and apply that story to, those are things that people are looking like. I'm a single mom, and how do I maintain, like, home meals for my kids? And if you enjoy cooking, Ruby, then that's easy for you. And that's something, and then you can apply that to, like, to your life coaching without selling yourself as a life coach, right?
Yeah.
Or, so again, knowing your target audience will let you understand what are their interests, and then what do you enjoy of those interests, and then create that content. And so it's all about having, the formula is personal, things of value, information of the industry that we're in. Is just all about sprinkling a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
That is the formula, because people are going to engage more with things that are non-related to what you do.
Yeah. Like I said, those posts that got the most, engagement and likes and connections were completely
And
not related to anything.
and those posts are the ones who are going to, they're going to remember. And when they or somebody in their life, or that they know, need you as an expert, they're going to remember you, because they're like, you know what, I remember that. It's like those posts are the ones that are memorable, the personal ones. And so by sprinkling in knowledge and value from the industry, but also doing the personal one is creating that memory. You're going to be memorable to that person. And then I also know, because I've seen that, you're spitting out knowledge on your industry. So it's like we make that connection. We're like, you know what, this person knows about that. And I think she's super cool because, or she's super down to earth, or, she's going to get you because she's going through something similar. So that's why there is a little bit of everything. It's not,
it's that relatability, right? Like you said, the personal connection, the relatability, super helpful. Well, I know we're at the top of the hour, and Anna Marie, if people want to, find you, want to learn about some of the work, I know you have a lot of great content. I highly recommend that everyone check out her website, and I put it in the chat. It's Anna Maria Sanin. Is it Sanin or Sanin?
Sanin.
Sanin. Okay. It's in the chat either way. Anna Maria Sanin and .com. And she's got a lot of great content. You can also follow her on Instagram and LinkedIn. And you will actually, and I highly recommend you go there, because you will visually see, like, your branding is very consistent. It's very congruent. The colors are beautiful. Like, anytime I see it, I automatically think of you. And Anna Maria is always putting out great content, and, free content too. So there are a lot of things that you can learn from her. Is there So I mentioned that your website, I mentioned your Instagram and LinkedIn. Is that where is the best place to connect with you?
So, I mean, yeah,
For
Instagram,
partners?
LinkedIn, website. Obviously, if they want, I offer a 15-minute strategy call. So they'll find that on my website to book that free discovery call with me. And same the other website, it's confidentclosers.com. Again, they can book, a free consultation there with me as well. That's the best way. And I would
Okay.
love to stay connected with you guys via Instagram. So the Confident Closers. There's also, so you guys can, I'd love to connect there. And again, yeah, I do share a lot of content there. I
Mhm.
also have the podcast, and the podcast it's just a platform for women professionals who just really talk about their journey and kind of like what I'm doing here, right? Like, how do they overcome life challenges? How do they, they stay up with their confidence when life throws us a snowball?
Yeah.
You guys can find that on iTunes. You can find that on Spotify. Google, again, is the Confident Closers podcast. Also on YouTube. I share all my episodes. So if you guys want to watch instead of listen, you can go to YouTube, The Confident Closers, and then you'll find that there. And yeah,
You're
so
everywhere.
I'm it's part of positioning my brand, right?
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. So, and so you guys heard that. You can book your 15-minute free strategy call with Anna Maria. Just go to her website. And then I posted Confident Closers on Instagram and the podcast that's on Spotify, Google, YouTube, and iTunes.
Yeah.
And also, I forgot to mention this at the very beginning, before we close out too. For anyone that is watching, I mentioned, the birthday post got a lot of traction because I just turned 44 a couple weeks ago, and I am hosting a virtual birthday fundraiser. And so it's this Friday night for those that are listening. You're all invited. I'm raising funds for Afghan women and children because of everything that is going on. It is one of the most difficult places to identify as a woman because of the political climate, the sexual violence, the education and economic inequalities there. The local area that I live in, which is Chapel Hill, North Carolina, is actually this Raleigh-Durham area is one of 19 locations that has been identified for replacement of Afghan refugees. So I'm hosting a fundraiser this Friday night. I'll drop the link in the comments too. And it's basically, I'm having my new passion is Krav Maga, which is a martial arts. It's basically self-defense. It's a combination of martial arts. It's a hobby that the boys and I have taken up recently, and we really love and enjoy. And so I decided this was a great way to share my new passion and hobby with folks, and also just raise some money to support Afghan refugees that are coming into the area. So I'll drop that link into the comments. All are more than welcome to attend. You can donate $5. You can donate $50. You can come by yourself. It's virtual class, so you can come by yourself. You can come with a partner. You can come with your whole family. And it's
That's
just
awesome, Ruby.
fun workout. Yeah. And so it's just kind of combining, my love of, Krav Maga, and then just I love to support other women anywhere, no matter where they're from or anywhere in the world. I believe that every woman is worthy and deserves opportunity. So this is just my my small little contribution. But Anna Maria, I want to thank you for your time today. Like I said, please go check out her website, and follow Anna Maria on Instagram, because again, there's a lot of free content, and you'll visually see the amazing branding that she has created for herself, and then you can also see the case studies too that is good branding. You know what? Really quick. We're going to do this really fast, okay? I usually do this. Okay.
Are you going to throw some crazy questions at me?
Yes. warrior for fast. What comes?
Oh my gosh, I'm a warrior for freedom, for self-development.
All right. My guilty pleasure is
Chocolate.
confidence is
Self-love, believe in self.
I am grateful for
this.
my superpower is
Understanding.
I am.
Loved.
And my message to the world is
Yes, we can.
And
that's just not quite right. So I
just beautiful. Anna Maria, thank you so much. Thank you everyone for tuning in. If you catch the replay, #replay. And next week we will have Illinois Senator Karina Villa on Women Warrior Wednesday to kick off Hispanic Heritage Month. So Anna Maria, thank you again. And good luck. You're 1 month away from having your little precious baby girl. And so, just sending you lots of love and just, hoping that this last month you feel like truly embraced and that that everything goes smoothly, and we're wishing you well and congratulations on your new baby girl that's coming soon.
Thank you, Ruby. And thank you for having me. This was awesome. I have like this big smile, this big joy that, we did this today. So yeah, guys, feel free to connect with me. And Ruby, happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
So I love this. Keep doing this. This is amazing. And you are great. So this was awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna Maria. Bye-bye, everyone.